Hey everyone, welcome back to another Beast of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaur series review. Today we're taking a look at the Yutyrannus. This figure is part of the final wave of Wave 1, Wave 1.5. David had to break up Wave 1 just so we got the Tyrannosaurs in before Christmas. But yeah, really excited for this one. It's nice to have, one of these larger size figures to add to the collection. The big Tyrannosaurs are great. I got the Guanlong, which is one of the smaller figures, but I'm really excited to take a look at a figure in this size class. Now, these new Tyrannosaur figures are in stock on Creative Beast website. Everything Dinosaur got them in a couple weeks ago. So if you had these figures on pre-order, they should be shipping out to you right now. This figure retails for $90. If you backed it on the Kickstarter, I think it was $80. So always pays to back these things on the Kickstarter. You always get them for the cheapest price available. But if you're interested in ordering this figure, I'll leave a link down below to Creative Beast Studios. So let's go over the package really quick before we crack this beautiful figure open. I am not missing the sleeves that came on the older release of the Beast of Mesozoic figures. I love how the artwork is now fully incorporated into the packaging. I just think it makes a much better presentation. You got beautiful artwork of the Yutyrannus with all that cold breath coming out of its mouth. Really beautiful artwork. And then you also have the Beast of Mesozoic logo printed directly on the package. It just gives a very professional look. And then spinning it around in the back, we have a nice picture of the actual figure, some facts about Yutyrannus and the rest of the figures from Wave 1. The only one I did not pick up was the Dylong. Still have my fingers crossed for a 1/18 scale, and I didn't pick up the 1/35 scale standard Rex. Gonna end up getting the Walking with Dinosaur one, but I like the 1/35 one so much I probably will eventually pick that one up. So enough about the package, and let's crack this figure open and take a closer look. And here's the Yutyrannus of the package, and what an absolutely beautiful looking figure. As you can see, the figure is sizable, but it's also light enough where you can pull a one-legged pose on the display base, unlike the 1/18 scale Tyrannosaurs. The color scheme is really well done, just like most Beasts of the Mesozoic figures. The color inspiration is taken from real-life animals. The Yutyrannus is based off the Stellar's sea eagle, and all the feathering on this figure is beautifully done. Yutyrannus is the largest known theropod dinosaur, known to possibly have feathers, and all that feather detail is just beautifully captured on this figure from head to toe. Very posable figure. I'm enjoying these smaller figures. I love my big T-Rexes, but these smaller figures are just a lot more fun to pose and play around with. The head is just absolutely gorgeous. Just love those greenish blue eyes. I just find those very striking. The hands with the yellow inside the palms add some nice contrast to the cream color and brown of the feathering. But yeah, all around an absolutely stellar looking figure. Now for some measurements, this figure is a whopping 16 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, or just over 40 centimeters, and just about 6 inches tall to the top of the head, or 15.25 centimeters. So Yutyrannus real life was about 30 feet long, or 9.1 meters. So I put this figure in the 1/22 scale range. So yeah, it's just coming in a little bit small. Should be around that 1/18 scale, but still a sizable figure. And just like all Beasts of Mesozoic figures, you do get a nice collector card inside the package. And this is the misprinted ones that are coming with all the figures. The resolution's off. It's the wrong card size. You can see the Beast of Mesozoic logo is all pixelized. On the bottom, David did send me a replacement when he sent out my production samples. So if you want a replacement card, David does have them. Just contact him through email, Facebook, or Instagram, and he would get those replacement cards out to you. And now let's take a quick look at all the accessories that come with the Yutyrannus. You do get a set of articulated legs and a few pairs of feet, and you get this beautiful display base. Yes, one of these legs is the solid leg. I have one of the articulated legs on the Yutyrannus. I find my figure stands a lot better with one solid leg and one articulated leg, just to get the balance right. For some reason, when I have both solid legs on it, my figure does not like to stand. So yes, it's a light enough figure. You can use one of the articulated legs or both of them for the figure to stand on its own without the base. So let's take a quick look at the base. The base is beautifully done. You can see this solid steel peg right here, which is very durable. It's a very snug fit. Putting this on to the base, you really got to push it to get it on there. But once it's in there, it is a very secure connection. But the base turned out really nicely. Just looks like frost covered rocks. It's actually a two-piece base. On the bottom right here, you have this little H clip, and you can wiggle this off. It's still very, very tight fit, and you can get 2 display bases. You can use the rock for diorama displays, have the Yutyrannus standing on that rock, and just slide that H-clip back in, and just slide this back over it. Like I said, it's a very, very tight fit. And you know what? We will do that later. For the rest of the feet, this is the articulated leg, and you do get some nice movement in the articulated leg. Get up and down movement. You get some nice rotation up and down at the feet, and some more rotation. And up here is the knee joint, but we'll go over that later when we go over the articulation on the whole figure itself. You do get a pair of standing feet, closed toes, and walking toes. Now let's take a look at the beautiful head sculpt on this Yutyrannus. I just absolutely love these beasts of Mesozoic figures. Just the detail on them is impeccable, and the paintwork is absolutely astounding. There's so many different colors on here, dry brushes and washes. Just the only part of the figure that's really not feathered is the snout and the inside of the hands and the bottom of the feet. I just absolutely love that bluish green eye. Very, very striking. Just love bright eyes on predators. You can see the nostrils clearly sculpted in. Open up the mouth, you get some nice teeth in there. They're all nicely painted. Now the jaw on mine on this side is a little bit warped. I just got to heat it up and try to get it a little bit more flush. On the other side, you can see it's not warped at all. Now let's turn the figure around, take a look at all the nice paint on the crest and on the bosses around the eyes. Just nice orange paint and washes on there to bring out all that beautiful, beautiful detail. Now one thing I want to note about mine, the hood is actually glued onto the figure, and I thought it was just like dried paint. So I did pry it off, and I did damage my figure just a little bit. You can see there's a peg right there that it was glued into. But now that I popped it off, I do get more of a head range on here, but unfortunately the hoodie makes it look pretty bad. So yeah, I did damage my figure just a little bit. On the underside, you can see some more feathery detail and some more scale detail in that lower jaw. Here's a view of the head from the top of my camera. Would like to zoom in on that, and then you have all nice scale detail all the way down the neck. Every inch of this figure is covered in nice feathery detail. Some nice shades of brown, cream color, and white mixed in, just all around an absolutely beautiful looking figure. Going down to the hands, you have nice sharp looking 3-clawed hands, and those claws are decked out in glossy black paint. The palms are done in bright yellow. I think that adds a very, very nice contrast to the figure. And then going down to the body, got more beautiful scaled feather detail all over the figure, just like nice contrast between the light and dark colors. Going down to the thighs, nicely done thighs, and then going down to the feet, you do have the same glossy black paint on the toe claws. On the side of the feet are that bright yellow. Just absolutely love that touch. And then getting down to the tail, let's get the camera to focus in on that. This is one thing I did not like about the figure. I wish there was more transition, this cream color to the white. It's such an abrupt stop at the tail. That's just a very, very minor complaint on this figure. And then going all the way down to the tail, you do have some nice plumage at the end of the tail, and the underside you do have that nice cream coat. So all around, a very, very nicely done figure. I think the head sculpt turned absolutely beautiful on this figure. Now for articulation, mouth can close completely flush. It can open up pretty wide. You do get some downward movement now that I unglued the hoodie, and some upward movement from the front. You do get some nice side to side movement on that head joint. And then for the neck, you can get some nice side movement with that neck. That hoodie is pretty flexible, so you can get some nice side to side on that. At the base of the neck, you do get some up and down movement. For the arms can swing out. You get about 90 degrees of bend at that elbow joint. For wrists, you get rotation. I kind of wish there was a hinge in there to swing the arms in and out just a little bit more. Going down to the body, you do have a mid-torso cut. You get up and down movement, and some slight side-to-side movement. For the legs can move back pretty far, and they can move forward far also. You get just under 90 degrees of bend at the knee. This is the solid leg, so let's turn around to the articulated leg. You do get a bend at the ankle and rotation up and down, and rotation at the foot. And then for the tail, you get up, down, side to side. It's a 3-jointed tail, same movement all the way down. And this part right here is made of bendable flexi material with a wire in there, so you could get some more posability. So overall, the posability in this figure is pretty good. Still much better than the big Tyrannosaurs. Those things are just absolute workouts. Moving on with comparisons, first up here it is with a human figure. This is the Hammond Collection Robert Muldoon, which is around 1/18 scale, so it gives you a good idea of how big Yutyrannus was in real life. And let's do a couple Yutyrannus figures from other companies. Here is Safari Limited's take, and here is PNSO's. And next up here is the Hammond Collection Ankylosaurus. I can't wait to get armored dinosaurs and beasts of the Mesozoic. We have a couple coming in Cyberzoic. We got Sauropelta and Edmontonia. I'm really looking forward to those. And let's do a few Ceratopsians. Here it is with Ionosaurus, and next up here it is with Sinoceratops, and let's do one of the big boys, and here it is with the massive Taurosaurus. And next up here it is with the 1/18 scale Psittacosaurus. Yutyrannus did share its ecosystem with Psittacosaurus. And lastly, here it is with the 4 different body types that we currently have released in the Tyrannosaur series. We got the massive 1/18 scale T-Rex. Here's the Yutyrannus, the juvenile T-Rex, and Guanlong. So yeah, a lot of nice size variation in this line, and I can't wait for the rest of the figures, especially that Daspletosaurus is one of my favorite Tyrannosaurs of all time. So final thoughts on the Beast of the Mesozoic Yutyrannus. Another fantastic figure. Every new release continues to impress me with this line. It's a beautifully done figure. It's nicely painted. The articulation is pretty good on it. My only minor complaint is just the transition of that cream color to white at the base of the tail. Other than that, it's very minor. I think it's an absolutely great figure. Definitely worth the $90. It's a sizable, hefty figure, and it's just light enough. You can pull off some nice one-legged poses on that base, which is a much better play experience than the big Tyrannosaurs. These small figures are just an absolute joy to mess around with. Now, like I said at the beginning of the review, these figures are now in stock. If you pre-ordered and back to Kickstarter, you should have already received them or be receiving them really soon. If you'd like to order one, the link to Creative Beast Studios is down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. I just still have the juvenile T-Rex to review. I'll be doing that one shortly. Got some stuff coming in from PNSO and GR Toys. So yeah, a bunch of new stuff coming in over the next couple of weeks. There should be lots of new reviews on the channel. So stay tuned for all that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on the channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps the channel tremendously and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.